Can you think of any other developer that can generate worldwide hype without even announcing their game? GTA 6 is arguably the most anticipated game in the entire industry right now. Rockstar hasn't even confirmed the title. Yes, everyone's talking about Spider-Man 2 and Starfield, but you and I both know if Rockstar were to announce GTA 6 tomorrow, all conversations would shift directly to it immediately. Now, there's been a ton of leaks coming out about the next Grand Theft Auto game. The going theory right now is that the game is actually going to come out next year, and the reveal is coming at the end of this year. There's even been a ton of credible leaks coming out recently that there's going to be a remaster or remake of Red Dead Redemption dropping in the very near future, which would be pretty sweet. That would lead us right into the next gen of Rockstar open world games. But just the other day, we got a new massive leak coming out about GTA 6 and some very important gameplay details. And today, we go over everything with a fine-tooth comb. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Chaos here. Let me know in the comments if you're hyped for GTA 6. Give me your prediction when it comes out. Drop that like. And it was recently reported by a Twitter account called GTA 6 Countdown that Rockstar has been working on a total overhaul of police behavior for the game. Now, I want to point out that none of this is confirmed, obviously, and the GTA 6 Countdown doesn't name the source of their information. So take it all with your little bit of salt you want to. It could just be clout chasing for all we know, but the leaks themselves actually seem pretty sound. I'm honestly completely ready to believe them. The stuff we're going to go over makes sense. I could see Rockstar implementing all of this. Now, before we do go over everything, if you guys get anything from G2A.com, use code CHAOS. If you end up getting GTA 6 on G2A.com, use code CHAOS. The link is in the description. Now, according to the leaks, GTA 6's police will be working completely different from previous games in the franchise. Instead of just spawning in at the scene of the crime like previously, the police will actually be called from the scene and then have to drive over to you from the nearest station, which means you actually have a bit of time to make your getaway depending on how close you are to the nearest police station. So if you're committing crimes in the middle of the city, you probably won't have much time to get away. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere in the outskirts, it's going to take the cops a lot longer to get to you, which could be an advantage. Now, the GTA 6 cops are also going to be much smarter than before, using new tactics like surrounding the scene of the crime, blocking off potential escape routes instead of just blasting into the area and charging right at you like a Call of Duty player with a death wish. The leaks also state the cops will take note of the car you're driving, meaning you won't be able to just respray it and drive away as if nothing happened. If you're wanted by the cops and someone sees you get in a car, they're going to remember that car. They're going to start hunting it down as well as you. So if you're trying to get away from the cops, you'll have to steal a car when nobody's looking, so nobody can rat you out, which I think is a perfect touch. Let's be real. It was always a little goofy in previous GTA games when you'd be wanted by the cops, you'd respray your car and act like nothing ever happened, when in reality, the cops would still be on the lookout for that make and model or license plate of that car. So long story short, the cops may take a little longer to get you in GTA 6, depending on how far from the police station you are, but it's also going to be a lot harder to get away from them, which is pretty cool. So what happens if you do get surrounded by the cops? Well, according to the leaks, you will actually have the option to surrender to the police in GTA 6 before they actually start firing at you, which kind of interesting. If you're inside a building and trying to rob it, but the cops show up before you can escape, they'll seemingly initiate a standoff and give you the option to turn yourself in and come quietly before charging in and firing 5 million rounds at you like in previous games. Again, compared to previous GTA games, it may be less action-packed, but it's going to be more challenging and realistic. So a while back, we heard that GTA 6 is going to have some kind of dialogue system similar to how Red Dead 2 did. If this leak about the police giving you the option to surrender is true, I think this may tie in. Think about it. You're robbing a bank, you get caught. The cops show up, and then you have a bit of a dialogue tree to try and convince the cops to let you go, maybe distract them while you make your escape. Granted, I have no idea how that surrender system is going to work or why you would ever take advantage of it. I mean, if the cops arrest you peacefully, it's going to have the same gameplay effect as if they killed you, right? You're still going to fail the mission. You're going to respawn somewhere else on the map after taking a bit of cash. I mean, you're going to take a hit. Maybe surrendering will take less of your cash than getting killed. I don't know. I think the idea of being able to surrender the cops is interesting, but Rockstar is going to need to come up with some kind of incentive for you to do it instead of shooting at them, because if the outcome is the same, nobody's surrendering. They're all shooting. Why would I surrender if I could just take my chances in a gunfight when the worst case scenario is the same either way? Another aspect of the reported police AI changes that I think could be interesting is how they could tie into the alleged loot system. So shortly after that giant Rockstar data breach that showed off all the in-game progress, it was reported that GTA 6 is actually going to have some kind of loot system where various items have different levels of rarity and value to you and me. Now, it seemed to fit in well with the reports that GTA 6's gameplay loop is going to heavily revolve around completing jobs and heists. And you may be wondering where I'm going with all this, but just here, I'm laying it out. If the police now have to drive over to your location from the nearest police station instead of just teleporting to the scene of the crime, wouldn't that make places near the police station a lot harder to rob? And if those places are harder to rob, don't you think they would contain some more valuable loot to make it worth the trouble? High risk, high reward? So basically, if this leak about reworking of the police AI ends up being true, I think it actually confirms the previous leaks we heard about GTA 6 having a loot system. Otherwise, why would Rockstar make the decision to have the police leave the station and drive to you? The further away you are, easier it is to get away with robberies and heists, so naturally the places closer to the police station, they're worth more. And sure, you could say Rockstar is making the change to the police station simply for the sake of realism. I don't get it. I don't think so. I mean, in a single-player open-world game, the player would never even notice if the police drove over to you from a station or if they just spawned in like ghosts. In a single-player game, that's just not something that the player noticed. It's a change that Rockstar is making for a reason. I think that reason may be the rumored loot system we've heard about. So, does this mean GTA 6 is going to have a bunch of level guns and exotics and whatnot? Is it basically going to turn into a GTA version of Destiny or The Division? I don't think so. I think this loot system is simply going to pertain to cash drops and maybe expensive items like more expensive weaponry rather than the level 500 AK-47, if you get my drift. Basically, it would function like a loot system in Destiny or The Division, but the loot itself would be more appropriate to a GTA game. Robbing a bank down the street from the police station will give you way more of cash and XP rewards than robbing a liquor store in the middle of the desert. If you manage to carry out that robbery perfectly without being detected, that bank next to the police station might give you a sweet weapon, maybe keys to a nice car, whereas the liquor store may give you a few bucks and a 40. Ultimately, I think these leaks would be awesome additions to the experience. Rockstar has been using a mostly unchanged police system ever since GTA 3, and if they're trying to make GTA 6 a truly next-gen experience, it makes sense for them to overhaul how law enforcement behaves, and honestly, I think it would be good. It was fun back in GTA 4 when you punch someone on the sidewalk and suddenly 20 cops spawn in and shoot you, right? It was ridiculous, and that was part of the fun. But GTA 6 is trying to be more modern and detailed as an experience, so naturally the cops are going to need an overhaul. I'm interested to see how the surrounding mechanic works, and I bet getting surrounded by the police is going to be a pretty intense experience this time around. From the sound of it, seems like GTA 6 is going to be taking some inspiration from the Payday series for some of this stuff with how much risk-reward actually factors in. For those that don't play Payday, a lot of the missions have a million places where things can go wrong and the cops can get called, and at that point, it's just going to escalate, get worse and worse for you. But there's also a ton of off-ramps throughout the whole thing, and that tense risk-reward is part of the reason people love Payday so much. GTA is a game about committing crimes, trying to pull it off in one piece, so it makes total sense for Rockstar to be taking notes. Again, that is assuming that all of these leaks are actually real. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you soon.